Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Viviana Valencia, and I'm the Executive Coordinator at CALDO. We're continuing today with the series Studying Canada. For this series, the CALDO Consortium has invited the graduate studies or departments or schools from each of our 10 member universities so that you may have an opportunity to learn about their institution as well as to ask questions in relation to the academic requirements. Before we start the webinar, I just would like to provide you some information in terms of how it's going to run. If there's a question that you may have for the presenters, I will ask for you to note it in the box Q&A that is at the bottom of your screen. I see that some people are posting some questions there already, which is great. Yeah, so that will be the box for your questions. Before we start, I would also like to take a couple minutes just to let you know what is CALDO. For those of you who haven't had an opportunity to hear about us or to learn or to know about the services that we offer. CALDO is a consortium composed of 10 of Canada's U15 leading universities, distinguished from other Canadian universities because of their strong research focus. Our members consist of the University of Alberta, is actually the university that is going to be presenting today, the University of Calgary, Dalhousie University, Université Laval, McMaster University, the University of Ottawa, the University of Saskatchewan, the University of Toronto, the University of Waterloo, and Western University. But what is CALDO? So at CALDO, we provide a range of free services to prospective students interested in completing a graduate program at one of our 10 member universities. Some of the services that we offer are assistance with the steps to apply for graduate programs at any of our member universities. So for example, if you're interested in coming to Canada but have no idea where to start looking for information in relation to, for example, grade equivalences, different programs, we are like the one-stop, you can call like one central point of contact. So other services that we also offer is guidance on how to contact with professors and supervisors for thesis programs. We actually are going to have a webinar just on that next month, for you to learn how to contact a potential supervisor. Also, we provide information on scholarships provided by funding agencies from the countries we work with in Latin America. So I will just take a few minutes just to show you where you can find all of this valuable information. If you go to our website, and it's www.caldo.ca, you could find information there as to, for example, the steps to apply to a graduate program, funding opportunities, testimonials from other students who are currently studying in Canada or who already completed their degree in Canada. And for me, one of the most useful tools that you will find on our website is a search engine that will let you know the different programs that you can find our 10 member universities. For example, if you're interested on studying maybe a master's on electrical engineering, but you don't know which of our 10 member universities will offer the program, you just go to our search engine, type electrical engineering, master's or PhD, depending on where you're interested in doing, and it will display all the programs on the area that our 10 member universities offer. If after visiting our website, you still have some questions, I will strongly recommend for you to fill out the form. You will find it as a pop-up window on our website where you can let us know more about yourself, even about the program that you're interested in doing completing in Canada. And our program manager will be contacting you with more information specific to your situation. Well, with this very brief information, I will now like to introduce you to Jovi Willis, who is the student coordinator at the University of Alberta. Jovi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Viviana. I'm going to start my video up, so hopefully, there we go. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I realize it's a little bit different. I mean, we can do webinars at any time, but considering the situation and the state that the world is in today, I just want to say thanks for taking some time. And also, I hope that this webinar, you are safe and your friends and family are taking care. Let me just pull up my presentation. I just need to, sorry, I have to share my screen with you guys. Perfect, so. Sorry, folks. Okay, so thank you again for taking some time. My name is Joby Wills, and I work at the Sponsored Student Program at the University of Alberta International. I'm going to today be giving you some information about, general information about the University of Alberta and the city of Edmonton, and then I will get into some specifics about graduate admissions at the University of Alberta, finding a supervisor, and admission requirements. But I just wanted to take note that one of my colleagues from the Faculty of Engineering has graciously decided to join us today, and he's available to answer any questions that you may have in the Q&A that's specific to the Faculty of Engineering. So throughout this presentation, if you do have questions, please feel free to ask them in the question and answer, but specifically for engineering, my colleague can answer those throughout the presentation, so feel free to let your questions go through that question and answer box. So where is University of Alberta specifically? We're located in Edmonton, Alberta, which is a western province of Canada. It's the second most western province. We're located right in between the province of British Columbia and the province of Saskatchewan. We are located relatively north of the province. So if you'll see here on our little map, Edmonton is about 300 kilometers away from Calgary, which is about a 3-hour drive. It looks like we're close to Vancouver, but it's still about a 13-14-hour drive. So Canada is a large country, but in relation to larger city centers, you can see we're close to Calgary and Vancouver. Edmonton, Alberta, we are the capital city of the province of Alberta. Our population is about 1 million people, and we are a major economic hub for the Western Prairies. The city of Edmonton is a clean and safe environment, and compared to other larger centers like Toronto or Vancouver, Edmonton does enjoy a lower cost of living. For Canada, for the province of Alberta, not just Edmonton, we are the top energy producer for Canada. We have a strong economy, and we do offer high salaries for contract and employment. So we do see a really high rate of employment here in Alberta. And as you can see from the photo, we have a beautiful natural environment in the province. Alberta is home to the Rocky Mountains. So you may be familiar with the cities of Banff and Jasper, which are mountain towns that are located right in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. As well as we have beautiful forests, grasslands, prairie. So we have a very diverse and beautiful province. People ask when I do recruitment videos, they do ask a lot about the temperature in Edmonton. And the first question is it cold? And the answer is yes, it is cold. You'll see our temperatures drop. We do experience, we are a winter city, we're a northern city of Canada. So we do experience some cold temperatures in November, December, January, and February. But you'll notice as well with the highs and lows of the majority of the year as well, we have very beautiful spring, summer, and fall seasons. Today, we're currently enjoying about a 28 degree summer right now is the temperature outside today. So we have beautiful, beautiful summers, winter, spring, and the winter itself is very beautiful, but it is a little bit cold. It is something to get used to, but it's a very cool experience. And as well, just to note, our infrastructure is also set up for a winter town. So even on campus at the university, we have many pedways and buildings are connected. Our train station is partly underground. So you'll never be too cold for that long in Edmonton anyways. Edmonton is known as one of the Canada's festival city. So one thing that is really, really unique about Edmonton is that we have festivals going throughout the year. So we have music, theater, food, culture events that take place from starting in the summer, and they go all the way until the end of the winter. So you'll see in the photo, we have actually one of the most popular events is called our Folk Fest, and it's about a 5-day event where you'll see the backdrop of the city. It's on a hill in the summer. It's a breathtaking festival. As well, we have so many winter festivals, and because we're the capital of the province of Alberta, we host many of the art gallery, the Alberta art galleries and Royal Alberta Museum, and many performances as well. We also have, oops, pardon me. We also have to note some very excellent restaurants, and they're world renowned. So we have been listed as some of the best pizza in the world, which may be surprising, but we have a few restaurants that are world renowned for our pizza. And actually, we just had a 2020 Best Restaurants in Canada was released, and Edmonton is home to 4 of the best restaurants in Canada. Some really exciting things about our city is because we're located right beside a river. It actually runs right through the entire city. We can enjoy many natural parks and recreations for the city of Edmonton. Edmonton has the largest urban park area in North America, which is, some people think that it is in New York, but actually Edmonton has the largest urban park area. We have a river valley system, and you have many opportunities for running, hiking, cycling, cross-country skiing in the winter, and snowshoeing. And these trails are maintained, kept, and used all year round. And we also have 3 hills that are home to our skiing and snowboarding resorts. So what a lot of people will do is learn to ski and snow in the city, and then they can take a trip into the mountains where it might be a little bit more expensive and also a bigger task to take on. And lastly, we also have, just outside of the city, we have something called Elk Island National Park. And it's one of the very few national parks where we have home to hundreds of buffalo that are roaming, and you're able to hike and camp there. The University of Alberta, specifically, we're ranked in the top 120 universities worldwide and the top 5 in Canada. And we have consistently been holding in those top 5 rankings in Canada for years. We're ranked 4th in Canada and 87th worldwide for the graduate employment rate. And we're ranked in the top 50 most international universities in the world. We have about 40,000 students at the University of Alberta, and 15% of which are international students. So as you see, our campus is large, and it's a very diverse and vibrant place to be. On campus, we have 18 faculties and 500 or more graduate programs and research that you may apply to. And we also have the 2nd highest research funding in Canada. Now, this is important because this offers many graduate students opportunities to take extra research projects and opportunities, and a lot of this can be paid because we have a high research funding in our university. The University of Alberta is also home to world-class facilities. One worthy of note is we are actually the home of the National Institute for Nanotechnology. So this is right on campus. So anyone studying in nanotechnology across disciplines has access to the National Institute for Nanotechnology. This is for Canada-wide. So we have people and visitors coming from all over the country, and we're very, very proud to call this Nano Institute home on our campus. We have the Centennial Center for Interdisciplinary Sciences, which is actually a very large building that all the sciences are together, which facilitates a lot more interdisciplinary research and work. We have the Edmonton Clinic Health Academy for medical sciences and nursing. We're home to the 2nd largest library collection in Canada. As well, all of our classrooms are technologically advanced. We have a teaching hospital right here on campus. And across campus, throughout the departments, we have over 400 research labs. If you are interested in the University of Alberta, we offer housing on campus to kind of eliminate stress and get to know the city, as well as just have that convenience of being living close to where you're studying. So if you're interested, say for a September, a fall start date, we have guaranteed on-campus housing if you apply before April 30th of the year prior. So the summertime, spring, summer, before you start your program. If you apply after April 30th, it's likely that we will have a spot for you. It's just that your application, you may not get the very first choice, but you can certainly apply after April 30th. We have a variety of accommodation options. They range anywhere from single person dorm, shared dorm, to shared accommodation and apartment style. Popular for graduate students is our graduate student residence, which is apartment style where you share with 1 to 2 other students, and you have a kitchen and everything else in that you would have at a regular apartment. It's just an apartment on campus. As well, if it interests you, we have meal plans available, which include halal and vegetarian options. If you are interested in learning more about residence here on campus at the University of Alberta, it does have a specific application that you have to fill out, different from your application for admission. So you can learn more at uab.ca/residence, just to take a look at what we have to offer, to do some online virtual tours, or you can also apply online through that link. Because we are such a large campus, we do have a vibrant campus life and a lot of opportunities for a really great student experience here at the University of Alberta. We have over 450 student groups and clubs that you're able to get involved in right from the start of your program. So these can be anywhere that can be related to your program, or they can be a lifestyle, hobby. I know many students, especially international students, are very interested in the skiing clubs or the outdoors clubs that offer trips to the mountains, or maybe to do some winter sports that you wouldn't normally have a chance to do, or that requires a lot of equipment. You can join these clubs and then you can have a discounted rate or even borrow equipment. We have sports varsity teams that you as a University of Alberta student can attend to free to watch the games. As well, we have a lot of intramural sports. So basically any sport you can think of, you can join to get that experience of meeting new people and just getting to know your schedule and a new lifestyle here in Edmonton. As well, the Graduate Students Union offers a graduate student association and other advocacy groups that are always looking out for the best interest of graduate students. Some of the supports that you will enjoy as a University of Alberta student, this is just a small list. By no means is it all of what we have, but something to get an idea of what types of services and supports that we offer our students at the University of Alberta. We do have an English language school if you'd like to learn English on the side, or also if you'd like to meet the academic requirements that I'll go through later in this presentation. We do have an English language school. We have a student success center for writers. We have student accessibility services, which will work with individual services students to meet their needs. We have a health center on campus with access to a physician, immunizations, nutritionist, and more. And we also have the pharmacy, which is also located in the same building. So one great thing about this is as a student at the university, you will benefit in having the universal free healthcare that we have in Alberta. But you will also have a health and dental insurance. So anything that's not covered in the universal healthcare, we will have health and dental insurance from the university, which will give you access to all those health center needs that you may have. You'll also have access to counseling and clinical services and interfaith chaplains while you're a student at the university. One great thing specific to international students is our colleagues here at the University of Alberta International, we work with international student services. So this is a dedicated unit that works only with international students. And they offer things like airport pickup and welcome. So on that busy time of the year in August and September, when many international students are arriving, there will be some friendly University of Alberta faces that will be there to pick you up and offer you a free ride back to campus. They have an exclusive international student orientation. So this is a really great opportunity. It's about a 3-day event that will offer tips on transitioning to Edmonton, anything from setting up a bank account all the way to academic questions and requirements. As well, it's a really great time to meet other international students who are starting their program at the same time as you. And they offer throughout the year support for immigration, academics, and personal issues. So they have a specialized team of student advisors. And as you can see, we have a really beautiful space on campus that you can come and drop in and ask questions about your study permit, your passport, if you have any questions for your academics or personal life as well. One of the benefits of studying in Canada, and specifically at the University of Alberta, is the opportunity to work and learn at the same time. So the University of Alberta has a specialized career center that offers support and services to students looking for work while they're studying, as well as after. As a student going to a Canadian institution, your study permit does allow you to work on or off campus. It just has a limit of the hours you can work. So that would be something that immigration advisors would be able to help you with. As well, when you're finished your program, you have the opportunity to apply for a postgraduate work permit, which enables students that graduate from Canadian institutions up to 3 years of working in Canada after your program. Because we are well funded in our university, we also have many research and teaching assistant opportunities. So these are paid opportunities that you can get more research time. You can work with professors in the lab and also in the classroom as a teaching assistant or a research assistant. As I mentioned, it depends on each department, but generally most departments will have these opportunities available throughout your graduate program. You would just need to learn more from the graduate advisor about the processes and how to go about applying for a research or teaching assistantship opportunity. And last but not least, as a graduate student at the University of Alberta, it's actually required that you do professional development in order to complete your program. So this is something that will help you and give you one step forward, including an individualized career development plan. So while you're studying, we want to prepare you as best we can to join the workforce and to get as much opportunities as you can out of your program. So the University of Alberta specifically, we have 18 faculties with graduate programs. I'm just going to read them quickly, but I would advise, if you can, take some time to look into all of these specific faculties, as there's different departments through each. And even though you're in engineering, we have a lot of cross collaboration and interdisciplinary studies. So it might be good to look at a few of these faculties, even if you have an idea of where you may fit in this puzzle. So we have the Faculty of Agriculture, Life and Environmental Sciences, Faculty of Arts, Education, Engineering, Kinesiology, Sport and Recreation, the Faculty of Native Studies, Nursing, Law, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry, the School of Public Health, Rehabilitation Medicine, Science, Campus Saint-Jean, which is our French campus, just a little bit away from our main campus here in Edmonton, the School of Business, and the Faculty of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. So because we do have so many programs that are offered, the best way to start your search at the University of Alberta is actually just at our main page, ualberta.ca. And if you'll see, there's a button called Admissions and Programs. So this would be the first step for you to find research areas and professors and graduate programs that might be in your area of expertise. So the typical degrees that we offer at the University of Alberta, we have our master's degree and our doctoral degrees. So the master's degrees, we offer both thesis-based and course-based, which can be professional or research-based. So the thesis-based, it comprises of the first year of coursework, and the second year would be a thesis defense, where you're doing your research and writing a final thesis. The the course-based program, it has more coursework incorporated within, and then it will have a final project, but you're not necessarily expected to create and research a final thesis defense. Generally, a master's program can be done in 1 to 2.5 years, but on average, it takes around 2 years to complete, especially if you're doing a thesis-based. Something to think about between thesis and course-based. Because we are a very research-intensive university, we do offer more thesis-based programs. Therefore, most of our funding will come from a thesis-based, a research-based program as opposed to course-based. There are some scholarships that you may be able to apply for a course-based, but generally the funding lies within the departments and the professors who are working on research. A doctoral degree, it's our most popular is our PhD, but we also do have a doctoral in music and also in education. These are generally research based, and they are, you will submit a thesis at the end of this program. Still, you will complete some coursework at the beginning of your PhD program. You'll have to do a candidacy exam, and once you pass this candidacy, you move on to completing your final research and thesis defense. This may be different from Latin and South America and maybe some universities in Europe. Our PhD is normally 4 to 6 years. So we do an intensive research for a PhD. The general estimated time is about 4 to 4.5 years. It's typically related to your master's degree, though because it can be interdisciplinary, it's not always required. And we do have some direct programs, though it is recommended that you have a master's before applying to a PhD. But that said, we do have some programs that have direct entry, whereas you can enter after you have a bachelor's degree. Some of the admission requirements for the University of Alberta. So we have our Faculty of Graduate Studies and Research who sets the minimum requirements needed to apply to the university. And these minimum requirements are a GPA of 4 out of 5 during your last 2 years of studies. Also on the Faculty of Graduate Studies, they also offer a conversion for each of the countries. So if your conversion or your final country GPA is not out of a 5 scale, if you go onto the Faculty of Graduates website, you will see the conversion for your specific country if it's not out of a 5 GPA scale. As well, at minimum requirement, you will need to provide some form of English language proficiency. The most popular are the IELTS or the TOEFL. So starting fall, September 2021, so this coming September, you will need to provide an IELTS of 6.5 with at least 6 on each test band, or a TOEFL IBT of a score of 90 with at least 21 on each of the individual skill areas. And one thing to note, because I do notice it's a little bit of a confusion, especially for Mexican applicants. So make sure that when you're registering for your TOEFL, you're registering in the TOEFL IBT, because we don't accept the TOEFL IPT. So it can be a little bit confusing. So just make sure that you're taking the TOEFL IBT when you're going to write your exam. And another thing to note, these are the minimum requirements. So faculties and departments can also set higher admission requirements if it's a competitive program, or if they feel that the program requires the higher GPA or English language proficiency. So for example, a lot of our engineering graduate programs are very competitive, and they often do have a higher English language score, and they often have a higher GPA as well. So what I would advise is first make sure you meet the minimum requirements, but then double check always onto the department webpage that you're interested in applying, because they have the final requirements that you will need. We typically say that students should start considering and start thinking and collecting documents anywhere from 12 months, 1 year in advance. Typically, it can take up to 6 months to apply, collect your documents, find a supervisor, and apply. So the earlier you start thinking about applying and getting everything prepared, the better. So this is just an idea of some of the typical documents that you would need to apply to the University of Alberta. You'll need your CV. You will need your university transcripts and degree certificates from all universities that you've attended. So even if you only took 1 or 2 courses from another university, you'll need to collect all your transcripts. They need to be in original language, as well as if the original language is not English, you need to provide a translation, an official translation. The U of A doesn't give specification of who needs to translate, but it must be official and it must be stamped and signed by that translator. As we mentioned, you'll need to provide your English test score. As well, most applications will require a statement of research interest or a statement of intent. And I'm going to go over that a little bit in the next slide, but also it sounds like there is a webinar going to be available through CALDO next week or next month. So you can also take a look if this is something that's kind of giving you some thoughts. You'll also need to provide 3 letters of reference, but one thing at the University of Alberta that's quite nice is our application is 100% online. So actually you don't have to provide you don't have to provide the letter of reference. What you do need to provide in your application is the contact information of your references, and they will get sent a reference form that they are to fill out. So everything is online, even your transcripts, everything. You're going to submit a PDF copy of everything as you're applying. And also, typical, as I mentioned, double check before you do anything on the department webpage specifically, because they may also require additional documents such as writing sample, a portfolio, or even a GRE or a GMAT exam. So once you've found an area of interest that you're really looking forward to exploring more, one thing is to double check if you require a supervisor. So many thesis-based programs, both master's and PhD, you will be required to have a supervisor and to have a professor guide you along your program. So what to do and how to find a supervisor, it can be quite difficult for international students, especially if you don't have prior connection to that supervisor. Maybe you hadn't met them, or you know about them, but you haven't met in person or have any communication prior. So one thing we say is to introduce yourself in a very formal and professional manner. It can be through email, but it must be formal, and it must include your CV, a statement of intent, your transcripts, and even offering the opportunity to have a formal interview will help supervisors. If you are planning to apply for any scholarship from your home country, so CONACYT, CAPAS, Pronabec, any scholarship from your home government or country, you can contact me directly, because one of my main jobs that I'm working with in the sponsored student program is to help prospective students find supervisors for sponsored students. So what I can do if you are planning to apply for a scholarship is I can actually be a introductory to that professor. And so I can put you in contact with the professor that you might be interested in. So writing a statement of intent, it is something that you would have to do for your application, but it also is very useful when trying to find a supervisor. So your statement of intent should only be 1 to 2 pages long. Any longer than that, the professor won't take very much time reading. And you want to talk about why you want to work with the professor, how their interest how their interest is good for your background, how your interests are related, also your goals and your experience within the research labs. One thing I can't state enough, professors receive tens and tens of emails from students a week. So they know when a statement is a blanket statement to all the professors in the department. So one thing I can't state enough is to find 1 to 3 professors and really craft your statement of intent specifically to that professor. So read some of their papers, make a connection between your work and your career and academic goals, that the professor can see you've really made an effort to go out and contact this professor. You may have to send emails to multiple professors, but I do encourage you to tailor those each to each individual professor. So some things that I've gone through, but just to keep you thinking, for things to consider before you apply to the University of Alberta. The biggest thing is to double check whether you need to find a supervisor before applying, because that can take some time and it is a lot of effort on your part. Double check the requirements, whether they meet the minimum graduate requirements or whether they're higher. And also if you're required to include any additional documents like a GRE or a GMAT test before applying. And one thing to consider as well is also to double check the admission deadlines and the start dates of each program. So not every department at the University of Alberta offers the same start dates. So our September semester is the most popular time to start a program, but some departments offer January admission, winter, spring, and summer admission, whereas some departments only offer a September start date. So that's something to consider because it will really affect the timeline of your program and your application on when those programs will begin. So once you've done all that background research and you feel like you're ready to apply, it's actually a very simple process to apply to the University of Alberta. So first, you're going to check out the programs, the admission requirements, and the deadlines directly from that department in which you'd like to apply. And then you want to submit your online application. So again, the earlier the better, but you can submit up until the deadline of application. And once you receive your admission decision, if it's a successful admission, you can start applying for your study permit. So it is a very simple process. It actually takes longer to prepare, kind of getting everything organized before applying. And lastly, we have a tuition guarantee at the University of Alberta. This is coming into effect September 2021. So this will be, September 2020. So this will be starting fall. We have a guaranteed tuition rate. So that means that your tuition will not increase for your program during the standard course of study, which is 4 years. And your tuition is guaranteed for full credit amounts, but if you need to take other courses or repeat courses, you would have to pay extra. But at the standard rate, your tuition will be guaranteed. So what you can expect to pay for the University of Alberta is a thesis-based master's program is around $9,500, master's and doctoral programs, pardon me. A course-based master's is about $10,500. And then the Master of Engineering and the MBA and other course-based professional course-based masters tend to be a little bit higher in tuition. So you should check their website for their specific rate. But the thing to look at is the thesis-based master's and doctoral programs will have a guaranteed rate as well as the course-based non-professional programs. And one thing to note as well, if you are looking to apply for a scholarship from CONACYT, from another government agency, you could be eligible for a co-agreement. So CALDO has agreements with, working with CALDO, we have agreements that actually lowers the tuition. So for example, if a CONACYT student is awarded the scholarship and gets admission to the University of Alberta, they will pay around $6,200. So we give a tuition discount to sponsored students. And speaking of sponsored students, I won't take much of your time, but I did want to just give a little bit of a general information about what the sponsored student program, where I work, what we can do and how we help students. So a sponsored student at the University of Alberta is an international student who is financially sponsored by an organization in their home country. So often we have many government organizations or institutions like other universities will provide funding for you to do a degree abroad, as well as companies. And we're actually quite unique in Canada in the sense that we have a dedicated staff. There's 3 of us that work with sponsored student programs. So we work with relations with your sponsors, and we're communicating to their sponsors to making sure everything is going smoothly, as well as we communicate and facilitate invoices. One of the big benefits for prospective students is if you're looking to apply for one of those scholarships, you can contact me directly and I can be one more additional support. So helping you research professors, helping you contact them and making sure that you meet all the needs to apply to the university. So it is a great benefit to have a dedicated person who can help students, because it can be a big sea to swim and to navigate when you're looking to apply for admission, apply for scholarship. There's lots of paperwork and admin that comes with that. So we're here dedicated specifically to help anyone who's looking to apply for a scholarship from their home country. So again, I think I took quite a bit of time here. Thanks for listening, and we'll get into the question and answer right after this. But just a reminder, and things to remember about the University of Alberta is we are highly ranked and an internationally recognized institution. We have high amounts of research funding available to graduate students. If you are looking for scholarships from your home country, we have the dedicated sponsored student program to help you from start to finish. As well, we have competitive and guaranteed tuition. And we are among the best in Canada for post-graduation employment. So here is my, first you can visit our main page, uab.ca, just to start your search if you haven't already. And if you have specific questions, and I see there are quite a lot of questions and answers, so if we don't get to them today, please take my email. It's joby.wills@ualberta.ca, and I would be more than happy to answer any of your questions, especially related to sponsorship or graduate admissions. If you won't be sponsored, but you still have a question, please feel free to send me an email and I can forward it along to the appropriate contact here at U of A. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you got some useful information. And if your question wasn't answered, then I look forward to answering it in the question and answer. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Joby. That was a great deal of information. Just for our audience, depending on the time when you join the session, you might have missed some of the information that Joby provided, but we're going to be emailing you, all of you, the recording of this webinar so you can listen in later and you're able to have all the information that you need. And again, same thing that Joby mentioned, if for some reason we're not able to go through all the questions because we only have less than 20 minutes and there are quite a bit of questions, you can contact Joby or us. Here I'm just going to share with you our contact information as well, so you can also send us an email and we'll be happy to help you connect with University of Alberta. Okay, Joby, so to move into the question section, the first question that I would like to ask is from Leonardo Castillo, and he wants to know if there is a maximum age to apply for a graduate program at U of Alberta. Joby, I think your mic is mute. It's on mute.
It is. Sorry. The joy of this type of technology. Thanks for the question. It's a great question, but actually we don't look at age when applying, when assessing graduate applications. So the biggest thing is to making sure that you meet your the admission requirements. So if it's been a while since you were at university, just making sure that you can get your transcripts and making sure that you meet the GPA requirement as well as the English language requirement. And then the second thing would be to double check and make sure that you can find a professor should you need a professor for your course base. But we don't have a restriction on age.
Great, thank you, Joby. So the next question, and I'm just going to ask this in a general manner because I saw a number of questions on the same topic. Could you provide some information in terms of the cost of life at Edmonton, both if the students would like to maybe stay in residence and what would be if they were to stay off campus?
Yeah, that's a good question. I should pull it up, but I can actually send a link. What I'll do is send a link. I'll put it in the chat in 5 seconds. The cost of living is significantly higher than some of the Latin American and South American cities. And one of the things is because of the conversion of the dollar. But as I mentioned, we are one of the more affordable, bigger cities, but still you will need to consider the cost of living. So for example, living in residence will be about $900 per month. And living off campus can be anywhere depending on what type of residence you're in. If you're in a shared accommodation, like renting a room, can be around $500 per month for living, up to all the way to about $1,200. So the Faculty of Graduate Studies actually has a very detailed list of things to prepare. So you want to prepare clothing, food, and accommodation. So let me just, I'm just going to pull that up and I'll put that link in the chat for you folks.
Would you like to share your screen, Joby?
Sure. Let me just grab it first and then I'll pull it up. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, because I have, just based on the questions that I'm seeing, you may want to
Sure.
to your website because, yeah.
Okay, there we go. So let me just share my screen. Okay, so is it working? Yeah.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, so if you look here in the Faculty of Graduate Studies, I went into prospective students, and then there's a fee and cost of living estimate. So this can give you cost of living, this can give you tuition living, but if you scroll down, it will also give you a cost of living estimate. So as I mentioned, things like housing can be anywhere from $900 to $1,200. And then it will give you a monthly limit and then an annual estimate as well. So it looks like on average, it can be anywhere from $49,000 to $60,000 to live, depending on if you have children, if you are renting with internet and utilities. So it can differ annually, but it's anywhere from $21,000 to about $50,000 per year.
Great, thank you, Joby. And now that you're in the website, also, I have a question. I saw a number of people interested on doing programs for ESL. Could you let us know, could you let the audience know about the programs that are offered by the University of Alberta and on ESL?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or the person who's in contact for more information.
So the best is the University of Alberta is the Faculty of Extension, and this is where the language school is housed. And probably the one that would be most interested for graduate students is the English for academic purposes. So I'm going to go to that one at the moment. So academic English for graduate admission. So if you go again to the faculty,
oye, mi computadora se puso frozen. No sé, ¿puedes tú seguir? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. It seems that Joey lost her connection, so we're gonna...
Yeah, okay, thank you, Juan Jose. So we're back. Carlos, I'm wondering if you could help us with answering some of the questions while Joey gets back. Carlos? Yeah.
Hola.
Hola.
Hello.
Yeah, could you help us answering some of the questions while Joey gets back? Oh, here is Joey.
There is Joby. Go ahead, Joby.
Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. Okay, yeah, so, well, we can continue with the questions and answers, see if that's okay with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so the next question that we have is, would the University of Alberta have any mechanisms in place to support graduate students with kids, like daycare or residences where they can stay with their children?
Very good question. Yes, the University of Alberta has many supports for graduate students who parent. And actually, this has become something that they're doing more and more of each year, the Faculty of Graduate Studies and the International Student Services. Unfortunately, at the moment, our family housing, or the residents on campus that offered family housing has been closed. So at the moment, we don't have on-campus housing, although we do have many resources and handouts for parents who are coming to Edmonton. We also have daycares on campus, as well as there are several schools and daycares that are around campus. We're really, really centrally located on campus. So we have many resources to share, but unfortunately our housing has been closed as of this summer.
Great, thank you, Javi. And also, just for those students who are interested on ESL programs, just to remind you, next month we're gonna have a webinar with actually people from the University of Alberta that will let us know more in detail the programs that they offer for English language. Okay, Javi, the next question, could you provide information in terms of where can our students find the different programs that the University of Alberta offers? Because I see a number of students asking about very specific programs, and maybe you can direct them to your website where they can find that information. And also, I'm sorry, Javi, for our audience, again, I would like to remind you that if you go to our main website at CALDO, you can also use the search engine that we have there, and you will also find the information there as well. Please, Javi.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went through it a little bit quickly because I had so many slides, but actually at the beginning, there is a admissions and programs tab on our website that would probably be your best guess, your best bet for your starting of your search. So I'll share my screen. I'm at the starting page of the University of Alberta's website. So what I would suggest is to going into admissions and programs. It's a button on the first page. And from here, you can start and look at your programs. So if you're interested in electrical engineering, you can search for graduate programs. And then it's going to come up in a search program, and it will come up all the results that you can have by electrical engineering. So I'm actually in the
Javi? I think we lost Javi again. But yeah, you can find the information, as Javi mentioned, on the website of UALBERTA, or you can visit our website, caldo.ca, and you may find the programs not only for the University of Alberta, but the other 9 universities that are part of the consortium.